Dan Evansen versus Julius Askew. Heavyweight tournament finals for the Gladiator Challenge 26 and 27 tournaments. 6'4" Evansen and Askew 5'11". Askew with a wrestling and boxing background at the time he was in college. Evansen, this had also been the start of his MMA career. Both people were in their first few fights at this point. The Viking was touted as a kickboxer. Round one starts, and no surprise, it's a completely stand-up affair. The whole match. Askew lands mostly straight rights and straight lefts, or at least throws them, landing a few, but landing enough to stagger Evansen, and then quickly they clinch in an upper body lock. Evansen is back against the cage for a few seconds, and I think Julius he tried for either a wrestler's trip or a judo trip, but the heel trips did not work. Back in the center of the cage, they go back to their punches and kicks. The advantage in punches would probably go to Julius. All punches landing to the face and head. Both men tried for elbows, and in that first round, I'll say Evansen won with the elbows landed, maybe 3 elbows, and then Evansen he also won in terms of other strikes. He landed kicks to the body, kicks to the midsection. End of round 1, it's hard to call. I'll say that was an even round, but it was action packed. Round 2, first half of round 2 was good. More of the same. Low kicks. Evansen lands 3 low kicks in that round. Askew lands a few good elbows, maybe 2 elbows in that round, in the first half of it. Both people are throwing punches, and at one point Evansen is staggered and nearly falls into referee Herb Dean, who has to quickly get out of the way. And the Viking falls against the cage. That was the high point of round 2, first 2.5 minutes of it. As the end of round 2 was happening, they circled each other a lot, threw punches that did not land. Evansen did land a few more low kicks, but the end of round 2 and into round 3, it was a lot of let's say very technical stand-up fighting, technical and at some points even non-existent. Referee had to tell him a few times, yeah, you need to fight. Yeah, that's why you're here. If you do not fight, I'm going to deduct a point. So round 3 continues on, and it's that slow, technical kickboxing fest. Askew does land 2 good elbows in his third round, and Evansen he keeps landing the low kicks, and they circle each other a few more times and look at each other and move their hands around like they're going to throw punches, but nothing really lands, or they do not throw the punch. I was really surprised. In 15 minutes, this whole match was pure stand-up. I would have thought Julius Askew, with his wrestling background and Brazil Jiu-Jitsu, as he obviously showed, he learned a little of in his match with Carlos Cantu. I would have thought, with his background in both ground fighting arts, Julius he would have taken this to the ground, or at least tried to. But other than trying for a trip against the cage in the first round, there was never an attempt by anyone to go to the floor. So, yeah, it was some slow, technical kickboxing match. Both people at different points landing hard punches. And Evansen was the only one landing any kicks to the body, kicks to the midsection, and a few tapping low kicks. But after 3 rounds, and only 5 to 7 minutes of them being good, we go to a judge's decision. Winner of the Gladiator Challenge 26 and 27 tournament over 2 days, and winner of the $5,000 by unanimous decision, Dan the Viking Evansen. Not a great win here, but hey, $5,000. It's $5,000. Good for the Viking. Even though my heart was with Julius Askew. I was hoping he would have won, just because he lived not too far away from where the tournament was. I don't think. I mean, Julius Askew was from Bakersfield, California. We'd see both fighters move on. Julius Askew and one more Gladiator Challenge fight, and then move on into King of the Cage. And Evansen, he would show up in the UFC after competing for maybe another year in smaller shows. Okay, good payoff in the first round. Good first round, but the rest of the match, technical and slow-paced, and the referee having to warn them to fight during a main event. That kind of made this hard to watch. End of fight review here. Once again, winner of the tournament, Dan Evansen.